Because if reality contains an element of potential waiting to be shaped, then consciousness becomes extraordinarily important. Consciousness itself may be the foundational aspect of reality. Our consciousness matters, our choices matter, our intentions matter. The environmental challenges we face today did not emerge randomly. They emerged from collective choices, from assumptions, from values, from a worldview that often prioritized consumption over stewardship and convenience over wisdom. So, we're going to address our role as co creators, how we fill that role, what it means, how we're to implement it and apply it to our life. So, tonight, I'd like to explore an ancient idea that may be far more relevant to modern life than most people realize. It begins with a concept articulated by Aristotle known as prima materia, or prime matter. Prime matter was understood as pure potentiality, the underlying substance from which all forms emerge. It's not any particular thing, rather it's the possibility of all things. A seed before it becomes a tree, clay before it becomes a vessel, potential before it becomes reality. Today, thousands of years later, modern science has arrived at surprisingly similar territory. At the deepest levels of reality, the universe appears less like a collection of solid objects and more like a field of probabilities. Quantum theory describes a world in which possibility precedes manifestation. Particles behave as waves of potential before appearing as measurable realities. The language differs, the framework differs, yet the underlying insight feels remarkably familiar. Reality appears to emerge from possibility. The ancients called it prime matter. Physicists speak of quantum potential. Religious traditions often express the same idea through the phrase, all things are possible, or with God, all things are possible. Different roads, a similar destination. But what does this mean for us? Why should it matter to our daily lives? Because if reality contains an element of potential waiting to be shaped, then consciousness becomes extraordinarily important. Throughout history, many philosophical and spiritual traditions have proposed that mind is not merely something that exists within the universe, rather, consciousness itself may be the foundational aspect of reality. The sages spoke of the divine mind, the Logos, the Tao, the Great Spirit, the All Father. Different names attempting to describe the same mystery and intelligence underlying existence itself. And if this is true, if consciousness is woven into the fabric of reality, then human beings occupy a unique position within creation. We are self aware, we reflect, we imagine, we choose, we create. Unlike a stone, the soil, or a river, we possess the ability to consciously participate in shaping our experience. We possess will. This is one of the most extraordinary gifts imaginable. Yet it is also one of the greatest responsibilities because every thought influences what we become. Every word influences those around us. Every action influences the world. In previous teachings, I've discussed the importance of thinking before thinking, the world as a mirror, personal evolution as humanity's highest purpose. All of these ideas converge here. Our consciousness matters, our choices matter, our intentions matter. The reality we experience is influenced by how we participate within it. This does not mean we control everything. It does not mean we can simply wish any outcome into existence. Life remains complex. Nature remains governed by laws. Cause and effect remain real, yet within those realities exists an undeniable truth. Human beings possess the power to shape outcomes. We shape families, communities, cultures, institutions, nations, the future itself. Every great movement in human history began as an idea in the mind of an individual. Every invention, every work of art, every scientific breakthrough, every act of compassion, every atrocity, every healing, every conflict, all began first within consciousness. This is why our relationship with thought is so important. A, tear, a fearful consciousness creates fearful systems. A compassionate consciousness creates compassionate systems. A greedy consciousness creates exploitation. A loving consciousness creates stewardship. The outer world often reflects the inner world, and nowhere is this more apparent than in humanity's relationship with the earth. In many ways, the condition of the planet mirrors the condition of human consciousness. A fragmented consciousness creates fragmented systems. A disconnected consciousness creates a disconnected relationship with nature. A mature consciousness creates harmony. This is why personal evolution matters so profoundly. The evolution of humanity begins with the evolution of individuals. As consciousness expands, choices improve. As choices improve, systems improve. As systems improve, life flourishes, not only for humanity, but for all life. This brings us to a remarkable possibility. What if the purpose of human existence is not merely survival, not merely accumulation, not merely consumption? What if we are here to participate consciously in creation itself, not as masters, not as owners, but as stewards, as caretakers, as co creators? Many spiritual traditions teach that humanity bears the image of the divine. Whether interpreted literally or symbolically, the implication is profound. We possess creative capacities because creativity is woven into the very fabric of existence. We create because creation itself is fundamental to reality. But creation without wisdom becomes destruction. Power without maturity becomes danger. Capability without consciousness becomes suffering. This is why the ancient traditions repeatedly emphasized responsibility, humility, service, love, compassion. Not because these are merely moral virtues, but because they are necessary safeguards for beings who possess creative power. The greater our capacity to influence reality, the greater our obligation to do so wisely. Technology has amplified this responsibility. Economic systems have amplified this responsibility. Global communication has amplified this responsibility. Today, a single thought can reach millions. A single innovation can transform civilizations. A single decision can impact ecosystems across continents. Never before has human will possessed such influence. Never before has wisdom been so necessary. If we are indeed participants in creation, then every day becomes sacred. Every conversation matters. Every purchase matters. Every vote matters. Every thought matters. Every act of kindness, every moment becomes an opportunity to contribute to the evolution of life itself. And ultimately, perhaps this is what spirituality has always pointed toward: not escape from the world, but conscious participation within it; not separation from creation, but union with it; not domination, but communion. The goal is not merely to improve circumstances, the goal is transformation, to become increasingly aligned with truth, with peace, with love, with wisdom, with the source from which all things emerge. The ancients called this enlightenment. Some call it awakening. Others call it transcendence. Still others call it communion with God. The language differs. The destination remains remarkably similar: a movement toward oneness, toward harmony, toward conscious participation in the unfolding story of creation. If this is true, then we are far more powerful than we often imagine. But that power is not a license for control, it's an invitation to responsibility, a gift to be held sacred, a calling to become worthy stewards of the creative capacities entrusted to us. For in every moment, whether we realize it or not, we are helping shape the future. The question is not whether we are creating, the question is what we are creating. And here's your Dr. Kenn challenge. Until we meet again, begin each morning by asking yourself one question: what am I creating today? Then choose one intentional act, one thought, one word, or one deed that contributes to greater peace, health, beauty, compassion, or harmony in the world. Keep it simple. Hold a door, plant a seed, speak encouragement, reduce waste, practice gratitude, offer forgiveness. At the end of the week, reflect on how those small acts influenced both your experience and the lives around you, because the path toward oneness is rarely built through grand gestures. It is built through countless moments of conscious creation, and every one of those moments begins with you. Thank you for joining me this evening for evening communions with Dr. Kenn. I hope that I'll see you again soon. Please drop a note in the comments so that I know you are here. If you have questions or need to contact me to do personal evolution coaching or just for encouragement, please leave a note, a comment, or direct message me. Again, I'm so pleased that you were able to join me this evening, even if it's on the pre-recorded rebroadcast. And I offer you blessings and peace. And until we meet again, intentional in thought, compassionate in word, mindful in deed, simple, innocent,